Today we're going to be showing you one of the coolest PCs we've ever gotten our hands on, the Comino OTTO Master. Hello and welcome back to WePC. Full disclosure, Comino sent this to us for a review, but it will be going back and we won't be getting any special treatment. So all of our thoughts are our own on this. This is an independent review for you to enjoy. Let's kick off with the review and start with its design. Now, it is nothing short of unique. It sports a futuristic design akin to that of a Mac, especially with the perforated side panels and the sleek aluminium finish. Pop over to the front and you can see the bespoke reservoir illuminated in all its RGB glory with a slight concave design. The biggest thing about the design though is the engineering, and Comino have plenty of experience with water cooling for PC hardware, and it really does show. A custom loop with water blocks for both the 9900K and 2080 Ti. It's a puzzle how they managed to fit such an effective cooling system in a small case. You can orient it horizontally, put it on the side of your monitor or on your desk, and it has such a small footprint. Or you can stand it vertically with that included stand that accommodates for cables in the rear. The side panels on the Otto use neodymium magnets and simply snap into place in an easy and satisfying manner. This makes the design somewhat toothless, which is always a plus, but the holes in the side panel obviously allow the cooling and the RGB provided by the internal strips to eke out ever so slightly, providing that lovely little light whenever you're playing. Multiple options are available with pre-builts and the DIY option. The Master is pre-built and probably worth the premium given the extremely tight space you'll be working with. Build quality is truly exemplary and you will be hard pushed to do better yourself. So now we're going to throw it over to our benchmarking expert Chris to see how this performs on a variety of different tests.
Hi guys, so I had a chance to test the Comino OTTO way back in March, and as you can see here we've got Red Dead running. This is a video on the YouTube channel, so there are a few others of Doom Eternal and Metro Exodus and games like that if you want to check that out. But first thing to say is the hardware. It's a 9900K and it was clocked, I think it came to us clocked at 5 gigahertz, but it depended on the workload and the core that was in question, because sometimes it dropped down to 4.8, 4.7 gigahertz. So the graphics card's an RTX 2080 Ti. I think it's the ROG Strix from Asus. And the clock speed does vary, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it went as high as 1965 megahertz in testing, but as low as like 1680. So obviously boost clocks come into play there, and it depends on the temperature, but the water cooling does a great job of keeping it cool, and you will see high boost clocks of about at least 1830 megahertz. RAM is from G.Skill, two 8 gig sticks at 3600 megahertz, 16, 16, 16, 36 timings, so pretty much as good as you can get. And obviously, yeah, it's got a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. It's pretty much spec'd out. Now, obviously, Intel's 10900K has came out, and that's the only thing that can beat this. The 3090 and 3080 still aren't here yet, so this is pretty much the best gaming experience you can get. And the form factor, look at how tiny it is. I don't think you can do much better than this if you tried to build anything yourself. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a video of Doom Eternal, Ultra Nightmare settings at 1440p. 1080p, it got an average of about 260 FPS, so just insane. And 4K Ultra Nightmare again, just over, I think it was just shy of 100 FPS. So it's well capable of high frame rate gaming. That extends into games that are competitive like CSGO and Rainbow Six Siege. CSGO at 1080p got 350 FPS and Rainbow Six Siege 450, if you can believe that. So competitive games that rely more on the CPU, you're definitely going to get all the frames that you need for the edge in those. Your AAA titles that are more picturesque, Red Dead Redemption 2, Metro Exodus, those sort of titles, 55 FPS in Red Dead, and that's at 4K ultra settings, but this does increase to about 65, 70 if you drop down to high, because obviously ultra was designed more for PCs of the future. Everything full whack. Extreme, they've got a mode called Extreme, which is just insane. 65 FPS average, and if you engage RTX, it switches over to ultra quality, and then engages ray tracing just because Extreme and RTX would be too demanding. So you get a 76 FPS. So pretty much, I think Red Dead and Total War Warhammer 2 were the only titles just shy of the 60 FPS at 4K max settings. But other than that, it smashed everything, 60 FPS at least in every title we tested. Okay, so productivity, we tested it and we've only really compared it against another system with a Ryzen 5 3600 and an Intel 9700. So different core counts, different thread counts. This obviously is the highest, 8 cores, 16 threads, and especially nearing 5 gigahertz on all cores, it's as good as you can get. Now performance was about 30 to 40% higher than what you'd get with those systems, which isn't, for the price, if you're going to buy that component yourself, it isn't the benefit you'd want, but it is the best that you can get. Obviously the 10900Ks came out now, 2 more cores, 4 more threads. It will be even better, and that's what Comino are offering with the new Master System. But as it stands, or as it stood at the time, it was the best. And yeah, like I said, 30 to 40% better in those productivity benchmarks, POV Ray benchmark, POV Ray, Cinebench, V-Ray, and the Premiere Pro and Photoshop tests that we do. So it'll handle all that. So if you want a single machine just for playing games, capturing it, and then editing it, this has got you sorted. If you want just a single machine for streaming to Twitch or YouTube gaming, like I've said, this will handle that as well. So it's like a one-stop solution for any gaming content creation you could want, to be honest. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That covers all gaming productivity performance. As I said, pretty much the best you can get, as expected, of the components that are in here. Quite quiet to boot as well. Very nice, bespoke, custom water cooling. So yeah, throw it back to you, Elliot.
The various Otto PC options are now available to pre-order over at the Comino store. One thing that did strike me after seeing what has gone into this is the value in this particular pre-built. If we take Corsair One's premium gaming offering, the i160, there is no doubt in my mind that the Comino Otto is the better value machine. Of course, there is a markup, but when you consider the customization that has gone into this mini beautiful machine, it just makes me want to throw my next paycheck or two the Comino way. So do I have any negatives about the Otto? Honestly, the only negative I could think of was the noise it produces. Whilst it was idle, it was fairly quiet, but when this was being pushed to the limits and the fans were blowing at full force, it was quite loud. But that was the only negative I could think of after a while of using this gaming PC. And to say that's the only one, it's truly amazing what that means. It means the build quality is fantastic, the design choices go a long way, and I love the way they have worked the power button and the USB-C into the logo on the side panel. The whole machine just feels well thought out and particularly well made. This isn't available yet, so there won't be our usual link in the description below. However, do subscribe because they are going to become available, and when they do, we're going to perform a load of more tests on them so you can see how well this truly does perform. As always, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can stay up to date on our latest videos and giveaways coming soon.